Wow, we got quiet. I am so excited to be here tonight. We have so many amazing things happening here in our group, and also, as much as we might think that we're losing this battle, we're not. We're winning. We are going to win this battle, but the first thing is to weed out the evil that's within our own side. And that's a sad thing that we have to do that, but we do have to do that. But anyway, my name is Tom Carroll, and I am the chairman of the Lehigh Valley Tea Party, and I, along with our board, welcome you here to now, amazingly enough, the September meeting. So I'd like you to first rise and join us in prayer. O God, our Creator, from your provident hand, we have received our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You have called us as your people and given us the right and the duty to worship you, the only one true God, and your Son, Jesus Christ. Through the power and working of your Holy Spirit, you call us to live out our faith in the midst of the world, bringing the light and saving truth of the gospel to every corner of society. We ask you to bless us in our vigilance for the gift of religious liberty. Give us strength of mind and heart to readily defend our freedoms when they are threatened. Give us courage in making our voices heard on behalf of the rights of your church and the freedom of conscience of all people of faith. Grant, we pray, O Heavenly Father, a clear and united voice to all your sons and daughters gathered today here in this decisive hour in history of our nation, so that with every trial withstood and every danger overcome, for the sake of our children, our grandchildren, and all who come after us, this great land will always be one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen. If you could stay standing, and we'll do a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you could remain standing for the national anthem. Thank you so much. I've had a lot of people suggest that our meeting sometimes it gets a little loud and people have a hard time hearing. So what I'm going to do tonight is, and I don't want to keep reminding people, but we have speakers that have come a long way tonight to talk about the subjects that we want to discuss. And I'd like to try to remind everybody, and I know that there are people here from the Berks Patriots here tonight, and I want to welcome them. You know, they have the same problem. They walk around tonight saying quiet, please. So it's human nature, I get it, but let's try to be respectful and keep the chatter down here so everybody can listen and absorb what's happening here. It's so important right now in this time of history. I also want to welcome a couple of people who have come here tonight and one being Linda Stubitz, who is the chair of the Republican woman county. And she's been coming for a while now as a member, but she's also moved as a member of the state committee and also the head of the Republican women. She's done a great thing in that she started talking to all stakeholders across the valley, in terms of stakeholders meaning conservative groups, Republican groups. You know how oftentimes we can be our own worst enemy and we fight amongst ourselves so much. But she took it upon herself to sort of gather everyone together and say, we need to have a rally in the valley for our candidates. And so it is on the 25th of September, and we'll be posting some flyers about this soon. If I could ask in the back if you could please keep down, thank you. September 25th at Evergreen Lake, we're going to have Oz and Mastriano and all of our candidates for State House and State Senate. And so we'll mark your calendars and we'll make sure that we send out that flyer. And I want to thank Linda for doing such a great job in putting that together. So it's a free event, and the whole point is we're looking to get independents and soft Democrats as well as all of us out to get out the vote, to make sure that we're telling the message of Fetterman is the most radical socialist running for office in America, and we can't stand quiet and let him get elected. So thank you for doing that, Linda. The other person I want to welcome here tonight is Glenn Geisinger, I'm sorry. Chairman of the North County Republican Committee. Glenn, in the face of a lot of evil garbage that goes on, as you've all heard for a couple years now, we've talked about the disgusting behavior of some of the people on the North County Republican Committee and how they seem to not focus on getting people elected, but rather their own little agendas. Well, as soon as people like Glenn Geisinger, who's worked to raise money, to get candidates out there, and they're distracting us from our mission. So this is a good example of why you have to understand what these people are doing. It's pure evil. Okay, so as you see from what's going on in the world, all you have to do is look at the headlines to say, oh my gosh, what are we up against? Every day you wake up and you see these headlines. As I was saying, thank you guys. Thank you. If you look at some of the headlines in the last 24 hours, shocking what this world has become. Republican establishment attorney generals connected to the Bush and Romney filed a brief in support of the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago. Attorney generals is being sponsored by Romney and Bush, sending a letter to the Department of Justice saying, we support what you just did. And they call themselves Republicans. Have you noticed that strategic oil reserves are down at their lowest level in history and refineries are blowing up all across the country? How about this headline? Reformulated COVID-19 booster shot gets emergency authorization without ever being tested on humans. Dr. Wheeler, what do you think about that one, right? Where are you? You're here tonight. California urges avoiding charging electric cars to ward off blackouts because the heat wave, the state loses, they can't charge them when the sun goes down. And yet they told you that you can't buy a gasoline-powered engine very soon. How about the fact that the Pentagon announces that Iran was caught stealing a U.S. drone ship? Are we watching what this administration has done to open up our borders, to destroy our sovereignty, and to destroy our ability to defend ourselves? Remember Lois Lerner and what she did and how she went after Tea Party people? Headline, Biden picks associate of Lois Lerner to head the new expansion of the IRS. So one of the things I want to do, and in addition to kicking someone out tonight, is I want to welcome the FBI and informants from the Pennsylvania Attorney General's and the U.S. Attorney's Office, whoever's here as the informants. We tell you, we know the election was stolen, and we will not back down from saying that. does Merrick Garland do? Threatens DOJ employees about contacting Congress. They can't even be whistleblowers now when they see what's happening. These Marxists have taken over our government, and we're supposed to sit there while they're destroying our food processing. They're stopping the use of fertilizer, so we're going to have food shortages within weeks, maybe a couple months at most. Anyway, I've gone on long enough with all of that. But in the meantime, here in Pennsylvania, we had that horrible Act 77. We have a situation where the courts are not doing the right thing. However, back in April, we had a meeting here of about 45 grassroots organizations to form a coalition of groups to start talking about this and put demands on our legislature. That group has now coalesced into about 100 different groups, and they had a great event this last weekend up in Bloomsburg. And two of the people that were there, and the one that organized it is here tonight, Sam Faddis. We're going to be hearing from him later, so I want to thank Sam for coming here tonight. And also Devin Flinka, who's a Bradford County Commissioner, who's been part of this battle here, and he's got so many good ideas. His head is always spinning around, and every time he calls me, I'm like, oh no, I've got more work to do. The point is, we have to start working. I know we come here to these meetings and we have a good time and we listen and we bellyache a little bit, but it's time to stand up, speak out, and we need to help the people that are running for office. We need to turn out. One of the people that is here tonight that I want to recognize that has been a board member of ours who's running for the state senate, Dean Browning. Please stand up. Dean Browning needs your help. He is running against a total libtard windball. And that's being mild. The demographics are against him, but if we go out to the neighborhoods and speak to people, and with the help of people like you, he can get people out to the neighborhoods and talk to people about how important this election is, and focus its narrative back to inflation and all the things that our government is doing wrong, especially in Harrisburg. So, one, thank you, Dean, for stepping up and running. And two, please support Dean. Also, we have a couple other people that we strongly supported that are members of our Tea Party who ran for office last year, and they are not here tonight because they're knocking on doors themselves tonight. So keep in mind, Beth Finch is running for the State House. If you know Beth, if you live in her area, she's a great person. Many of you know her from speaking on our education committee. She's been here many times speaking to us. She will be great in Harrisburg. Everyone says Schlossberg can't be beat. Yes, he can. He's an arrogant person, and he doesn't understand the troubles that the people have and what the policies that they promote give to all of us. Beth can do it, but she also needs your help. Jared Coleman, many of you know Jared. Jared's like the Energizer Bunny, right? Jared beat that disgusting incumbent, Pat Brown. And he did it with your help, and he needs your help again. Now, that's a better district for us, but we're not taking anything for granted. It's a wave year, maybe. Don't take that for granted. You got to get out there and work. We got to help these people get elected. So, I guess that's about it that I'm going to wrap up right now for my opening remarks. But the most exciting thing that I have on my agenda tonight is to introduce you to and reintroduce you to our former chair, Tom Campione. Well, all right. Because I got all excited about Tom being here, I skipped some things. Let me go through some business here real quick. Treasury report as of total membership and treasury report, 6,667. I think those numbers will be adjusted up because we did a pretty successful pig roast and raffle, and we sent out membership forms, and so I think those numbers are going to be jumping pretty quickly. If we go back, where's the treasury? Okay, there's the bank balance, $69,700, credit limit of $10,000, and then go ahead, Andrew. Patriot-minded businesses. You know, many years ago, we actually started talking about how important it was to support each other, and now it's even more important. We need to create our own economy. We need to do that. And Melissa's back there. We're creating what's it called? A flyer for patriot-minded businesses. And we're going to keep expanding that. We want you to understand that we need you to go and use those services. And then it'll just help with all of us surviving this onslaught. Okay. Go ahead. How many people are here for the first time? Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Please consider joining the LVTP. And I don't kick people out often, so don't worry about that. All right, thank you for coming. We will have a 50-50 raffle at the end of the night, and we're also going to be drawing that cash raffle tonight as well. We also do that gun raffle. Andy Ritter's in the back selling those gun raffle tickets, I should say, and we sell 100, and then we can call it every time we sell 100 tickets. If you are short of cash, we sell those LVTP chips. You can give a card, and that way you can make donations and buy your tickets, etc. with the LV with that chip. And then always, as always, don't forget about the cannolis and Joe in the back selling those cannolis for the help supporting the Boy Scouts. And of course, we always have our merchandise taffy over there. She'll give you a discount. All right, go ahead. All right, so I think you can see on the slide here, there's about 2,000 people there, and I think you're going to hear more about it, so I'm not going to get into it too much here. It was an important first step, and it was exciting. It's just the first step. And we have to hear about it, but we need to move on very quickly. And that's why we have Sam and Doug here, because this is like the kickoff now of the kickoff. So we're going to go across the state, we're going to put the pressure. And as Sam Faddis has said, the beginning for the fight for Pennsylvania, this is the beginning of the fight for Pennsylvania. We are not asking the legislature for anything. We are telling the legislature what they will do. All right, these people get elected by us, and they need to listen, and that's why they're here tonight. Go ahead. All right, we have our pig roast this Saturday, and everybody had a good time. We had a big crowd, about 250 people, I think it was. Yeah, there we go. And we had a lot of sponsors, and people had a good time. And I want to thank everybody on the board and all the volunteers. Tim Fisk, did an amazing job. Thank you. And everybody else on the team that put that together, I know everyone had a good time. And I do want to thank one other person here who handled our pig roast for about a dozen years before. Brian Eichfeld, he was a board member, he's been with us. He was the voice of the Tea Party when you got those robocalls for so many years. Brian, thank you for everything you did all those years. So we will be drawing at the end of the evening that 50-50, not 50-50, that cash raffle that we sent out. So that's enough of that. And what do we got? Oh, the meat raffle that they have here at the fair was, where are they selling that? In the back end?
They're walking around.
They're walking around selling those. Support them. They are very good to us. We're happy to be here at this facility, and we need you to support that route.
They get to come to the party.
Right. All right, so we are also looking to have State Senate candidate Gene Browning will be involved in posting this 2,000 meals dated September 22nd in Northampton. And we have flyers. Well, that'll be blasted out in an email blast as well. Go ahead. Okay. What's this? Okay, this is where is this? This is down in Newtown. Actually, Bill Tunky. Another one person that I want to recognize here tonight is Bill Tunky. He's a former board member. Where are you, Bill? Bill, you were such a measured force for all of us for so many years. Your wisdom and your insight was always important. And when we started going at each other, you're often calming us down. I appreciate you being here tonight. And Bill actually mentioned, are you going to put this up today? And I said, I don't think we have that up, but we have a flyer. So thank you, Bill. So that's September 10th, and that's a kickoff for the Oz event. And I don't know if you guys remember Frederice Schillinger. She ran for lieutenant governor. The year before, she established a PAC, raised $750,000, and got dozens of school board candidates elected across the state. It wasn't about politics. It wasn't about Democrat, Republican. It was supporting people who would run for school board, who would open the schools. And she's an amazing force here, and she's got some stuff coming up here on September 13th. And move next slide.
I didn't know we had this many slides, so what's all this about? All right, and Andrew is the chairman of, he's on our board, he's the one that runs this, but he's also the chairman of our pro-life committee, and they have this bus going down on the 19th of September, and if you want information, see Andrew at the break, or do we have flyers on that one?
No, but they can sign up over
They
here.
can sign up here with Sandy at the table up here on the left. Okay, go ahead. All right. As always, Val Ferguson is here to talk about support the troops.
Susan. Okay. Well, I'll just continue anyway. Good evening. Mr. Doom and Gloom behind me, and I'm going to have a little more doom and gloom, but I promise I'm going to end on two happy notes, one of them being that Tom Carroll follows me. So, yesterday, August 31st, was your National Overdose Awareness Day. Now, I like it better when it's National Chocolate Day, or Pretzel Day, or something like that. But most of us do know someone who is suffering from all that crap that is coming into our country. Or you know somebody that has overdosed or killed themselves, unfortunately. And unfortunately, our veterans are in that group many times too. And those of you know us know that Blair and I support our troops. We have for 13 years, and we will continue. No, there's not as many in Iraq and Afghanistan anymore, thanks to our good old Joe. But we have enough supplies and enough support, and we hear enough that our military goes into service thinking that they're going to make a difference and gung-ho America. And they get there and it's not always that way. But then they get this surprise package from Support the Troops. And I'd like to honestly think that we are making a difference. And there's lots of people here who make a difference, whether it be in golf outings or rallies or cleaning up after the pig roast. We are all workers and we're all doers and we all get pumped up for coming here. So just keep going. Now, as far as someone who has made a difference, Sue, where are you?
Stand up.
So Sue, 5 years ago, got her quilting group and made a fabulous quilt, and we raffled it off to support the troops. So about 2 months ago, she comes up to me at one of the meetings and says, "Hey Valerie, how you doing? Would you like another quilt?" Who's going to say no? So, like the gun raffle and like everything else here, no obligation, but we sold 100 tickets for $10. Now I'll tell you where that money goes. If you do your math, it's $1,000. Well, I sent 240 this week in postage to mail troops. It goes 100% to mailing our packages. And at the pig roast, this is, I love Eagle. At the pig roast, we pulled the ticket, and we'd like to present this to Mo Jory. Mo, where are you? Mo has always been a very good supporter to the Tea Party. So has her husband, and I'm really, really happy that she won this. So she'll enjoy it, and she deserves it, because she's a hard worker, and she gives a lot of her money to different groups. Thank you. I was also asked to remember those on Friday the 16th is National POW Day and MIA Day. So think of that and say a prayer, because we all know someone there too. Thank you very much. God bless all of us. Anybody knows anybody serving, come see me in the back. Anybody wants to know about a great opportunity at the Trump Golf Course or another outing which Bill knows. Okay, thank you very much. And can I introduce him?
So Andrew was going to go back a slide because I skipped one.
Lost the projector. Hold on. Take him.
Well, then we're all going on. I'm going to keep talking. You know, you made a mistake. You gave me the microphone. While we're waiting for that to come up, I see that Billy Moore walked in the room afterwards. Billy's working for Lisa Scheller's campaign, and he's doing a great job. But Lisa also is out working tonight, otherwise she would have been here. But we know, I was so proud to endorse her, and we know she was the right person for the job at this time. She's out in the neighborhood, she's working, she's raising money, and she's communicating with people all across the valley to say that Susan Wild has to go. She needs your help. Billy's here. You can take your volunteers. You can sign you up. And if you live in the city of Bethlehem on September 10th, the Bethlehem City Committee has organized a walking with Lisa on the 10th of September on Saturday. We'll meet at the borderline at 1 o'clock. So again, Billy conveyed to her that we all love Lisa and we are fully supportive and thank her for stepping up. Thank you. All right, we got that. All right, well, while we're waiting, Tom, you're going to need that, right?
Yes, but I'm going to talk first.
Right. If it's going to be a while, can you...
So, now we got...
You got it.
No, you have to go down to each in Yes.
So as we're waiting here, many years ago, Tom and I were involved with the Tea Party. I don't even think I was on the board yet. He was on the board.
Okay, just leave it on me.
And we started to
Leave it on me.
realize that the Tea Party was a great movement that started in 2009, and we made a difference. But then a couple years later, we just fell into this. We met once a week, once a month on a Friday at the Sprint Center. We sat in our metal chairs, and we weren't allowed to be political by our own bylaws. So Tom was the driving force behind helping us change the bylaws, getting us more active, and then when he became chair, also created all of this so that we could do something that was amazing, and we grew to be the nation's largest Tea Party, and I think primarily because of everything that Tom Campione did. So I want to welcome him back here tonight, because he's going to share with you the work that he's been doing behind the scenes to help with our new membership program.
Thank you all very much, and I'd like to thank a very kind and gracious God, because that's why I'm here tonight. And I'd like to thank all of you for your many, many prayers. There's no doubt in my mind I'm standing here before you tonight because of the power of prayer.
Amen.
So I've gone through the story with a lot of people here. I'll try to make it quick. But many of you are wondering, what happened to this guy? Why haven't you seen him for 10 months? I had a stroke. It was a blood clot. I had no history of blood clots, but I had a blood clot. For those who are wondering, did I have the vaccine? Yes, I did. Why would I do that? Well, because I had a granddaughter and I had to make my daughter happy. 5 months later, I had a stroke, cerebellar stroke, and so I did not lose my speech, I didn't lose memory, I didn't lose strength. What I lost was my balance. I couldn't stand. I couldn't sit. I would just fall over. And it was, 2.5, 3 weeks later, I couldn't even walk in a harness machine. My recovery has been absolutely amazing, and there is, again, no doubt is because of the power of prayer. So I thank you all. The reason for me being here tonight, by the way, I'm not coming back. I'm here tonight for a special little piece. And I have to tell you, one of the messages that came through to me very loud and clear as I lay in bed for a few weeks was that politics will always be, and my granddaughter and now my grandson will not always be the ages that they are. And the lesson for me was, because I dedicated my life to this group. A lot of people know that. I had no life. But the big lesson was, hey, you're getting old. I turned 73 last week. And it's getting late in life. And family means everything. And I've got 2 grandchildren who I have to make sure grow up to be conservative.
Amen.
Because otherwise, my daughter and son-in-law, I'm not so sure. So, anyway, that being said, the reason for me being here tonight is to really introduce a new capability of our membership system. An announcement was made last month, and maybe you heard it, and maybe you didn't, but I spent roughly 5 months and probably 600 hours rewriting and building our membership system from scratch. The reason is that the previous one was originally built back in 2014, and after 8 years, it's become pretty much obsolete, I guess, and maybe within a year or two, it would be no longer maintainable. And so the current system is written in pretty much state-of-the-art, ASP.NET, which is the standard for corporate America. And so it's heavy-duty on supporting it. We launched that last month, but there was a piece that wasn't ready, and it's ready for tonight. It's live polling. And we're going to do that now. We're actually going to test the system. So I'm going to do this live polling. I've tested it as much as I can test it in a simulated environment. The proof of the pudding is going to be tonight, and you're all going to help. If it were running on a large machine, it could probably support 5,000 voters. On a small machine, which it's running on, should be able to do 200 or 300 without any problem, but we'll find out. You'll use your smartphone to vote. We're going to do 6 questions. So, if you checked in and received a thank you message, please go to that message and tap on the link that says to open the live poll. And if you would do that now. If you did not get a thank you message and you'd like to participate, you have a smartphone, just go to LVTPservices.com. LVTP, as in Behind Valley Tea Party, services.com. And you'll see a screen that says sign in as a regular participant, or a display you want to sign in as a regular participant. They'll ask you for a phone number. So everybody who's doing this should be at a screen that says the system is currently out. That's pretty much, there'll be a few people who are a little bit behind. Okay. So I'm going to go down and work from the table down below.
No, I'm good. Okay. Yep.
I need one on. There we go. All right, so if you're on that screen, that says, currently idle. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not like, what does it say on there? Yeah, if your phone says that the system is currently idle, that's where you should be. Okay, great. So here's what's going to happen. Like magic, your phone is going to suddenly display a question when I click a button. Are you ready? Let's see if this works. Okay, so test question. Are you a paid Lehigh Valley Tea Party member for 2022? All you have to do is tap the answer of your choice. Yes, you are. 2, no, you're not. Or 3, you are unsure.
Here comes some music, Andrew.
Yep, hold on. Franklin, here, hold
So be ready to. I'm not sure about volume.
Yep.
Is my volume up?
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead, try it again. Oh, wait, the other one. Which one is your wire?
I was on before.
You're on.
Should I play? There we go. Give me some volume. The heat is on.
No, on the music.
That's it.
Put it in.
All right. Okay.
Attempting to connect.
I think we lost our network.
It's back. Back.
Okay.
Everyone that's
So,
not a member, stand up.
The labels are very small on screen here, and there's nothing that I can do about that. This is a third-party graphics program component, but it's free.
Whoever's not a member, go right over there now and join.
Yes. During the break, if you're not a member, please go join. If you're not sure, please see one of the captains, and they'll help you. Can you make the screen a little smaller so we can see it? All right, well, we got 100 and something notes. All right, we're going to go to the next one. Next question. Of these, which one, can we have some quiet please? Of these, which one is your number one most important? So, number one, most important issue. We know that you probably have 2 or 3, but we need you to pick your top one.
Try refreshing.
And you should be voting. Are you?
Says,
You don't have a question?
You voted?
Oh yeah, well we have some. Okay.
oh, there it was.
I got some music coming in.
Interesting. So let's see. Number 7 was the most, and that's election fraud. So This information is really important to our board, folks. The reason is, we need to be working on the things that are most important to you, and if we don't know what's important to you, we don't know what to work on. Okay. Next question. If the Lehigh Valley Tea Party had a project for your top issue, how much time would you be willing to volunteer? 1, not at all. 2, probably about a half hour a week. 3, about 1 hour a week. 4, between 1 and 2. 5, from 2 to 3. 6, between 3 and 5 hours a week. Or 7, more than 5 hours a week. So, if we had a project for your top issue, how much time would you be willing to work on it?
You're not yet to try the menu, sync. Top menu, sync. You may catch up on the next question.
So if your screen seems to be out of sync with the questions, the top right corner is a little hamburger menu, and just click sync, and within a screen or two, you should be back in the flow of things. So number 4. And that's between 1 and 2 hours a week. So I'm really impressed with that. Thank you. Just a couple more questions. All right, is everybody with us? Are you registered to vote at your current address? 1, yes. 2, no. Or 3, unsure.
Music is coming.
Okay. Awesome. 98.2% registered to vote at your current address. So, for the couple of people who said that they were not, please register and please vote. And we need you folks to get all of your neighbors out and vote. You know what? This fall, can we have some quiet, please? This fall, Democrats are going to cheat like they've never cheated before. Why? Because they got away with it. And so we have to be prepared to get every Republican out that we can possibly get out. Now, I know a lot of people in the room, they have had some issues with Dr. Oz. A lot of people in the room may have had some issues with Doug Mastriano. We've got to put that aside now. We have to. Because the choice now is these folks or the Democrats. I'll tell you something. If we wind up with if Pennsylvania winds up with, I'm in New Jersey now, so I don't know if I would say but if we wind up with a Democrat governor, it's over, folks. It's over. And, the Democrat senator, 2 Democratic senators, it's over. So we gotta do everything and put all the nonsense aside. Okay, enough. Just one or two more. If Donald Trump ran for president in 2024, would you vote for him? Yes, no, we are sure.
Music's coming.
Music is playing. Interesting. So 5.2% said no and 5.102% said unsure. Okay, I'm not sure what we do with that. Maybe.
Okay, but this is of those who voted. One last question. Who's Brian Eckfeld? Yeah, a lot of people are, but if you go to the top menu, top right corner, and just press sync, you should. And yeah, okay, if that's not working, then okay, then it is what it is. This is a live.
This is a live test. So what the connection issues are, who knows? Some of it may be the main computer. It's not getting out to the phones.
Maybe everybody's on their phone and you vote.
I think this is the last question, yes. What is the number one reason you come to our meetings? 1, to be educated by the speakers. 2, to hear political candidates. 3, to socialize with other like-minded people. 4, to get excited, motivated. 5, to hear Tom Carroll. 6, others. Please vote now. Yeah, see, we just lost the connection again. So, this computer keeps losing connection to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you lost. Andrew, does that mean he gets to go home?
And we forgot to play music for that one. Okay, thank you. We're done. Thank you all for participating.
Back up there then. Hold on. Actually, I got it.
I don't really care that you didn't come to hear me. I got the mic. One thing I forgot to mention was Lisa Schiller's campaign has Scott Prescott coming to an event on September 8th, so we'll get that also in an email blast. There's a lot of events coming up. You'll be getting some more emails from us in the near future. But as then, it's time to introduce to you our first actual speaker of the night, Doug McClinko. I've known Doug for about 12 years now. I met him up in Williamsport when we had a cross-caucus coalition when a bunch of us, people involved in the state party at that time, decided to coalesce against the sort of more liberal Southeast Pennsylvania Republicans in bigger numbers, and he's been a strong advocate of conservative values for as long as I've known him. So welcome tonight, and thanks for coming out.
Trump needed him in Mar-a-Lago a couple of weeks ago. So, just in Tom that spoke before me, talked about the power of prayer. We're in a evil fight in this country. I know I'm not telling you folks anything that you don't know, but boy, do we ever have to be in prayer to get this republic back, because commies have stolen it from us, and it started right in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So I don't think it's all lost. I think we will win, but I think we're going to have to fight like hell, personally, to get it back. So just a little bit about my fight with Act 77. I got to be friends with Sean Parnell. Maybe a lot of you know him. I like Sean Parnell, a true American hero. In my eyes, a lot of you read stuff. I know what the real truth was through all that. But I told Sean, I said, man, I cannot stand being around these state legislators. I don't want to be in rooms with them. I don't know what the hell they do. I know they go to chicken and biscuit dinners and they go to spaghetti dinners, but I'm not quite sure what else they do. And I just, he and I talked, we got good friends. One day he called me and said, Doug, would you like to be a plaintiff in a lawsuit? And he introduced me to Wally Zimmerwald. Wally is a real patriot lawyer, a fighter. And so about a year ago, this last July, we started on one simple question in our lawsuit. Is Act 77 unconstitutional? No one's seen the choir here, but everybody probably knows that all the 2 Republicans voted for it. It's kind of a sham. They like to think that, it was bipartisan. Yeah, there's some Democrats went along, but, all in all, everyone but 2, Zimmerman, I can't remember, Sam, the second one from, and Zimmerman stood strong, and he and Jones, they supported other candidates down in New York and Lancaster, got stripped of their committees, got stripped of budget, staff. It's just terrible. This leadership, these people have got to go. So as soon as I entered the lawsuit, I called up a friend, a true patriot, another hero. The word hero is thrown around a lot. Your gym teacher's a hero, your English teacher's a hero, the lady that picks up the garbage or whatever's here. But these people are real American heroes, and one sits right over there that's going to speak. And I called Sam up, who's a lawyer, and he's worked with the CIA, he's no BS, and I told him what was going on, and he stayed every step of the way. And Tom has helped through all that, because there's some pretty tense times, through it. Emotional times, because it was unconstitutional. They knew it was unconstitutional. We can't let them lie to us about that. So last September, Wally argued in front of the Commonwealth Court in Pennsylvania, in front of Leavitt, McCullough, and Cannon. And he did a terrific job. He knocked it out of the park. And he kicked the Democrats hind end all over that courtroom. I'm going to tell you, they had nothing. And they heard the case again right around election day last November. And who they brought up was interesting. It's Waxman, the Solicitor General for Clinton, and one of Obama's top constitutional lawyers, a real comic. And they argued it. And by God, in January, 3 Commonwealth Court judges who campaigned on being conservative, constitutional conservative, when they ran, they did what they said they did. And they ruled it unconstitutional. So right around that same time, Sam, myself, and a man by the name of Michael Caputo formed an organization called Ballot Security Now Education LLC. Our website is ballotsecuritynow.org, and it was just to take these people on. Many people that know Sam, he's a terrific wordsmith. Michael Caputo was one of Trump's campaign. By the way, who didn't vote for Trump, okay? I was almost heartbroken on that. I was ready for the 100%. But I guess I can kind of get it. But we talked to the president, Sam, myself, and Michael. Michael got destroyed in Russiagate, literally bankrupt. And this man fought back. You can go there and read the lawsuits and read Levitt's opinion, which is terrific. But this man stepped up to the plate. He did the organization, and we formed a nonprofit in Florida. We've got we got Roger Stone's tech guy, terrific, brilliant guy, a true fighter. Now remember, Stone, Manafort, Caputo, all the other ones that got destroyed in Russiagate on January 6th. And then they raided the president's house in Mar-a-Lago, frogmen, ships, the sirens. Who the hell can think the people that will do that wouldn't steal an election? What? I mean, it always boggles their mind to think that Harrisburg is that dumb. And there's only one way out of this right now. It's a constitutional amendment. It has to be, unfortunately. And a lot of you folks know how that's done. It takes 2 sessions of Congress to get that done. And it's kind of ridiculous to do a constitutional amendment to reset the Constitution. So the Supreme Court heard the case. First, Wolf and gang ran right over the political hack group, the Supreme Court, and they heard it in March. And then here just a couple of weeks ago, while everybody was on vacation, they politically flipped it to say it was constitutional. We stick with this baloney mail-in balloting. So it was just terrible. And just a couple quick things, and I don't want to take a whole lot of time, but does everybody here know who Lee Chapman is? Raise your hand if you know who Lee Chapman is. Artasia. Well, let me tell you who Lee Chapman is. Through our organization with Sam and Michael, we had a group, and by the way, there are patriot election people. And just so you know, we've lost over half of the election directors and their deputies in Pennsylvania since and because of Act 77 in the state. We're probably about 600 years of expertise in this state right now is gone because of these jokers in Harrisburg. And our election director, Renee Smith, of course, does a terrific job. She called me up when Lee Chapman was the 5th appointed behind a lady by the name of DeGraff-Reed to Secretary of State. So Wolf is appointed 5. And who is Lee Chapman? Lee Chapman was the executive director of Deliver My Vote. Who's Deliver My Vote? It's a Marxist organization that believes in federalization of elections. She believes she was one of the chief architects of turning Colorado a deep red state blue. Right, Sam? I mean, this woman's bad news. She's a commie. She's in Pennsylvania. So then my friend Nolan Boos, he started following a man by the name of David Becker. Do you folks know who David Becker is? Now, Nolan, if I misspeak, please straighten me out. But David Becker was the funnel of the Zuckerberg bucks, and he was in Wisconsin. He started a voter thing, it's called ERIC, that reports on voter rolls and things like that. Really, these people are Marxists. Pennsylvania got the most of the Zuckerberg bucks, right? So what did David Becker do? So he's moved into Pennsylvania as well. They had a conference in Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago. They invited all the election directors in the state. Guess what? Ours did not go. And she alerted me to this, and she would not go. But these election directors, what did they get? Free room and board, free transportation, they got dinner, and included with movie tickets, hosted by David Becker and private money, a true Marxist that went into the steel states. And it's just despicable. So when you start looking at who's in our state right now, and those people sit in Harrisburg, and thank God Coleman won here, by the way. Doesn't it do your heart good to have both chairs of appropriation in the House and the Senate get voted? Doesn't it really do? There's got to be more. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that these people know is money and primaries. There's no discussion. It's kind of interesting. I hate to be all over the place, and I won't try to take a whole lot of time because I know I can stand here and go through all that we've learned. It's like Tom said, we talk all the time, and when you think it's bad, it just gets worse, doesn't it? You find out about Becker and DeGraff-Reed and Chapman and what Wolf did, these hacks at the Supreme Court who flipped, 3 constitutional conservative judges from the Commonwealth Court. It just gets worse. But, God bless Sally Mundy and Kevin Brobson. God bless them. And how important are Supreme Court judges? Those 2 people stood tough. and they wrote opinions and dissent, and that Kevin Brobson did not let us down. But again, let's remember these people when they run again. Remember a bunch of them, the hacks, to get rid of, and the other ones, and hopefully we can get this voting turnaround so it doesn't, we don't get stolen, which they are going to do. So basically, when you look back and see what these people in Harrisburg did to Senate, and they're arrogant, and they don't care. Well, I started to tell you, so for whatever reason, my wife is in Kenya, and for Father's Day, she put on YouTube an interview with a Tea Party member in 2011, right after the revolt. And how are you doing? So I said, I watched it. And this guy was talking, and he was so proud that the representatives listened to him. They went to dinner, and how they felt that they were being heard in Washington in their state capital. And I'm thinking, man, as that ship sailed, it is just time to throw these people out. There is nothing else to do. So how we've transformed from the 2010 revolution to today. But at any rate, when you look back and see what these people caused, the dead people, our servicemen, brave young and women that got killed in Afghanistan, gas prices, people that can't heat their homes this winter, the energy crisis in Europe. I don't particularly have not really sad about what these clowns have done over there with their green energy stuff, but still they're human beings and they don't deserve it. But our own country, we're going into a winter of high oil prices, high natural gas prices. Bradford County sits right in the middle of the Marcellus Shale, which is the biggest blessing that God could ever give to our nation. Just on a quick side note, that is the answer to our economic problems in this country. I think that God is drawing a line in the sand and you're for him or you're against him. And it really is. I mean, I look at all this, I look and see the blessing of natural gas. I work with different municipalities all over the United States, and I don't care what party they are, but people who are energy, elected officials and stuff are the greatest people you ever met. You wouldn't know how they're registered. They're true Americans, and they're the fight. And Trump was the thread through energy throughout the entire United States that drove him to victory in 2016. But at any rate, so then you get to these 87, and I'll just close with this. You get to these 87,000 IRS agents that we got with Biden, who really isn't illegitimate. There's only 3,000, I think, in 6 counties in America. Do the math. We're in trouble. And it's just like one of Tom or the other Tom that spoke. God help these people if this election gets stolen in November. Because that's where we're headed. And, I don't know if you folks know this, but, the new voter registration forms now comes with a check mark where you can sign up for lifetime voter registration through the voting through the mail. Do you know that? We're in a complete Marxist takeover of Pennsylvania. If anybody doesn't think that this isn't to take us out of the electoral college conversation, you're not paying attention. That's what this is all about. They're pulling PA out, the most prized, and I don't think I'm like Steve Bannon, I don't think we're a blue state, I think we're a red state. And I always think we're a red state. They stole in Philadelphia forever. It's time for that stuff to stop. It's time for Republicans to grow something and get out there and stop them. But we're a red state, but they've pulled us out of that electoral college conversation, and we've got to stop them. We have to do everything we can to get people to vote, to be vigilant, to work the polls, to do everything. Because I don't think if we lose this election, we're done. So thank you very much. I hope I made some sense. Stay praying. We're going to fight for the soul of this nation and it's against pure evil. Thank you.
There are a lot of terms that some of you may have heard. Many of you know Bill Blackenberg comes here often and once a month almost for a while. He was talking about election stuff, and Bill was giving us some of those statistics about the ERIC system. And they have set this up in a way that they will steal these elections, and we're looking the other way. But we have people like Doug, who had county commissioners across the state who are really pushing back. County commissioners can opt not to fund drop boxes, and some counties are saying no. I happen to represent county commissioners in Fulton County, Pennsylvania, and we have litigation going on there. I have an argument in front of the Supreme Court on some of the cases. We're still fighting them, but it's not going to be won in the litigation, but that's part of it. It's going to be won by all of us doing everything at every term. We need to be knocking on doors, but we also need to be going to our voter registration offices. You're going to see a kickoff of some stuff going on next week. And I believe Sam Fountas, who's going to be our speaker after the break, is going to also talk about some things, but he's also helping us now with a nationwide effort that we're going to do to take the moms that were involved in the school stuff and take them to the voter registration offices and say with a kind heart, you need to start hand counting your ballots. So if your machines are so good, which they're not, then if you have nothing to hide, and they do, then let us count these ballots and compare them to your machines. If your machines and a hand count ballot is the same, then you can tell us we were wrong and shut up, and we will. But it won't be that way. So we're going to ask everyone to engage further, but Doug just said something too that just really struck me. Heard this today earlier. We often talk about God should be on our side, or we hope God's on our side. No. We have to be on God's side. He's right, and thank you for saying that. So we're going to take a break right now. So I know Sam's staying here, but we got sort of altered with our schedule today because of changes. Tabitha was supposed to come, and I'll talk a little bit about her in a couple minutes after the break before we get into Sam, and then we'll welcome Sam. And Sam's got a lot of good things to say to us, and I apologize because he came a long way, and he's going to have to wait till after the break. But we need donations to help pay the room and everything else we do. We have buckets on the tables. Please contribute in those buckets because we need your help paying this and all the other things that we do. If you're short on cash, you can buy the LVTP chips. Go ahead. Okay, so don't forget to buy the merchandise, buy the raffle tickets. Talk to your speakers, ask them some questions, and we'll have to come back in about 10 minutes. We'll hear from Sam, and then we'll wrap it up with the drawing of the cash raffle at the end of the night.